What's up, guys? Welcome back. We are in the active healing series video 2. I want to read you something real quick. It has been said that time heals all wounds. I do not agree. The wounds remain. In time, the mind, protecting its sanity, covers them with scar tissue, and the pain lessens but is never gone. And that is where the triggers lie. In this brief video, I'm going to discuss triggers very briefly, and I'm going to give you an assignment to bring back for video number 3. Okay, let's go. All right, guys, so again, thanks for coming back. Subscribe, make sure you hit that bell so you are notified, and leave me comments about how you liked everything. I am going to be on and off my paper because I don't want to get off track, and you know again how I ramble. Say that in every video. Okay. No, but triggers. The definition is an action or situation or stressor that can lead to an adverse emotional reaction, or in my words, silent killers, because triggers can have you going down all kind of, little paths of anxiety, discouragement, and all that. It can lead to depression. You get sad, you get overwhelmed, and sometimes we don't even know what's wrong. Like, we're just sitting here one day and we're like, well, why is my mood like this? We might wake up like that, or we might be good one day and then all of a sudden we're just not good anymore. Your mind just goes all bonkers on you. So there's obvious triggers sometimes, but at other times there may not be. And so my purpose and goal is to help you work through the triggers and not around them. We can't continue to try to escape them with the external vices, the alcohol, the sex, the shopping, the retail therapy. I love me some retail therapy, but no, that's not gonna do it. We have to learn to get through them. So hopefully by the end of this series, we can, I've been able to give you some good resources or tips or just some encouragement along the way to let you know that you are not alone, and there are things in practical ways that you can do to get past these things. Okay, so the other thing is, I've throughout these last 2 years have been really tough. So if you watched the other video, if you haven't watched it, go watch the first video of Active Healing series. I should have it linked in here somewhere. But it's absolutely necessary. The reason why I picked that quote is because you cannot. Time is good, prayer is good, but you can't, you're masking stuff. Prayer does get you through things, but you have to actively learn and grow and learn how to work these things out. If not, you're just gonna sit there and be stagnant. Let me look at y'all. And be stagnant. So you have to be, I like, to use the AAA, you have to be aware that they're there so that you can work on them. You have to accept that they're there and that you are going to do the work, and then you have to act. So then you have to put your plans into action so that you can get past them. Okay, so like I said, we're going to be really short here. We're not going to go into it too much, but so some of the triggers that I have, I'll just list a couple of them. Some of them are common, some of them you guys may deal with as well, but these are things that cause negative reactions or emotions in me. And what I have discovered is, now that I am acknowledging them, not just, oh, I wonder what's wrong with me, oh, is it because I'm ABC. No, I'm literally I'm writing them down. I am acknowledging this made me feel this way, and how do I get from here to here to where I can, okay, I'm aware of this trigger, but now I need to push through it. You know what I'm saying? So where is it? Oh, real quick, I know I'm getting off topic. Real quick, I did want to read just a couple of where are you? Oh, I wanted to read a couple of kind of like quotes on triggers, or like other definitions of them. So I thought I would share them in this video. Triggers are like little psychic explosions that crash through avoidance and bring the disassociated, avoided trauma suddenly, unexpectedly, back into consciousness. So it can be as subtle as something you're scrolling through Facebook or TikTok or whatever, and a memory is triggered based off of something that you've experienced. Maybe you've God, can I talk? Maybe you're not where you want to be as far as career. Like in my example, I'm influencing. So if I see something from someone else that's doing really great, it can inspire me. But if I just continue to sit there and harp on, oh, they have this and why are they this far? Well, I've spent an hour looking at this other person's life instead of going to work on my stuff. But that's a trigger, because now I'm feeling like, oh my gosh, like I'm comparing my life and I'm not this far. And then you just keep going and spiraling downward and downward. And the trick with triggers is to stop it. Well, it's just, it's anxiety, causes anxiety. The trick is to stop yourself in the middle of a thought and say no. And how much better to be able to stop yourself than to acknowledge and be aware of what is actually there triggering you to have these feelings. And so I know I'm like just going, I'm getting off my script and stuff now, but it is just so important to become aware instead of running from them. Go through them, work through them, because they're going to be there. And unless you work on them, you're going to continue to be in these ruts and go down into this despair and discouragement and not be able to move. So, this is really important that you're able to work through them. Okay. Sorry, let me get off track. Okay, if someone else's reaction seems out of proportion to the situation, it usually means that something else was triggered. That's obvious, right? Avoiding your triggers isn't healing. This is one of my favorites. Avoiding your triggers isn't healing. Healing happens when you're triggered and you're able to move through the pain, the pattern, and the story and walk your way to a different ending. That's the difference. Not continuing to just cover it up or mask it with, going out or drinking or smoking or whatever. Okay, if you have to cope some way, that's fine. Like, I'm not saying you can't ever use these things to cope, but deep down, are you really getting to the healing? No, because we're walking around here medicating ourselves with anything and everything that we can. Sex, drugs, whatever your vice is. Triggers can happen when you least expect them. When you think all the emotional wounds are healed, something can happen that reminds you there's still a scar. So we're always going to have memories, right? We're always going to have something that brings something up. So again, another reason to make sure that you can work through your triggers and not escape them or just pass them until the next time you get triggered. The people who trigger us to feel negative emotions are messengers. They are messengers for the unhealed parts of our being. So I'll stop there. I think it's that. Yeah, I already talked about that one. So just an example of some of my triggers, which kind of I feel like are obvious, but maybe, you may not feel the same way or didn't think about it. People are obviously triggers. I think everybody knows that. There's that one person in the office that just can hit your button, or that person on the road that is doing something stupid, as always, because that is definitely a trigger for me, but not for the unhealed part of me. Well, who knows? Maybe it is. That's the part I need to work on. Anyway, other than that, there's people, TV shows, music can be a trigger. Social media, I talk about this all the time. Give yourself a social media break, because you do not realize how much it is actually affecting you. Like, lay it down for a second. Pick up a book or just sit there and breathe for a sec, Get off the phone. Our memories, I talked about that. And then there's some things that we can't help that are triggers, which is yet another reason why we need to learn how to work through these to cope, is your medications and hormones. Those things can be obviously physical triggers for your moods and emotions. So it's important to recognize that those are things that can trigger you. Medicine, I guess that's kind of obvious, but hormones, yes, that can trigger you to have, as a woman, I felt like, hormones, during your menstrual, of course, you feel like attitudinal or just moody. But there's other things that go on in your body, not only during your menstrual cycle, just your hormones, period. And if they are out of whack or high or whatever, it can literally derail everything. So I didn't really realize that. Like, it makes sense, right? But I didn't realize that So also, triggers are not always bad. We have triggers and memories that trigger good experiences. And so as with anything else, we need to try to focus on the positive. But unfortunately for us, the negative is so much easier. The brain just picks it up. You have to actively force yourself to think positive. So even though you may have had an equal amount of positive experiences, the negative is always going to try to overwhelm that. So we have to put in practice what you need to do when these triggers come up. So to wrap it up, remember, you have to do the work. And it may not work every single time, but if you have these regular exercises or just the knowledge of knowing what you need to do, then you'll have a lot more experiences where you'll be able to control it and not go down in a spiral, or not be in this dark place of discouragement or despair, or wherever, or rage, or wherever it is that you go when you're triggered, depending on what it is. At different points in our life, there's going to be different triggers. So it's not that this is not a cure, this is not a treatment. It's just being aware and learning how to work through them. Okay. So one last thing, I think the quote that I read in the beginning, it's so necessary because I feel like you need to learn how to actively heal, because if not, just like that quote said, it's not going away. And you need to be able to push, I'm going to say this until y'all get sick of me, push through and not around. There is no escaping, because at some point you're going to pay for it, or going to have to deal with it, should I say. So in this instance of that quote that I read with time, okay, time is your band-aid. It doesn't heal the wound completely. It's there to protect in the worst of it, but the scar remains. And unless you properly tend to it, it can get worse or remain ugly forever. So, guys, let's get this cocoa butter and Neosporin and let's get to it, okay? So I hope you made it to the end of this. Your assignment that I would like for you to do and bring to the next video is write down your triggers, okay? You can do it maybe 1 day, 2 days, or whatever, or maybe if you can, write them down for a whole week. Like, really pay attention to, I'm in this mood, what just happened. I'm in this mood. Like, it could be as simple as something like not getting enough sleep. Like, honestly, that is a trigger that a lot of people don't realize affects so many things throughout the day. So anyway, write down your triggers as you go. Write down the ones that you recognize. Pay attention, like starting today. As soon as you get done with this video, starting today, right now, pay attention to your moods. Pay attention to what is setting you off. And it doesn't have to be something huge like, oh, I'm so mad. Subtle. It's the subtle things that play in the background that really is what impacts us the worst. So if you can comment, not if you can, do comment below in this something on this video. Comment some of your triggers and some of the things that you may have found that you know now, or you can come back in a couple days. Don't forget, come back in a couple days and maybe share some with us. But yes, your assignment, write down your triggers. Some that you already knew and some that you may have found out, but I want you to bring that list and your ideas and thoughts with you for the next video. Make sure you hit the bell so that you are notified when I upload the active healing video number 3, where we will discuss just a little bit more about triggers, and hopefully I can give you some helpful tips on how to work through them. So make sure you've done your homework, okay? All right, I appreciate you guys, and if you made it this far, I love you. You are patient, and I hope that you are able to benefit from this and the other active healing videos. Make sure to check them all out. Subscribe, like, comment, and hit that bell. Love you guys. Bye.